Hello, 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 beautiful people. I am Kim with Abundant Life Tarot, and today we are doing our March's month in review. So sit back, relax, stay tuned if you want to see what was going on with me and what I was loving, my favorites, in other words, for the month of March. So let's talk about March. Wow, what a full month. And I'm actually recording this today on March 31st. And it's just been a whirlwind, moving from one country to another and just having all of that going on. It just makes for every single day just being jam-packed with stuff going on. So there wasn't really any new deck buying for me. I was mostly immersed in the decks that I have created, and I'm in particularly writing a guidebook for my love oracle that I'm going to revamp and put out for those who are interested. So I'm working on that. I'm like almost at the halfway point with the cards. It's like a 54 card deck. And halfway there with the meanings. So yeah, it's been fun. It's been a lovely outlet, and I'm grateful that I have these little projects to work on, and I'm grateful I have a little time to work on them. So that was definitely a highlight. And yeah, let's get on to the favorites. If you see me looking down, it's because I have my planner, and it's fun for me to look at it because it's so pretty, so pretty. Okay, so YouTube. Let's talk about YouTube first. Again, with regards to watching a lot of TarotTube, I just haven't had a chance because it literally for me is, I need to get better at speaking Spanish. So I look at those videos. Sometimes I just want to escape, and I'm watching reality TV YouTubers who, these folks have, and I've said this in other videos, but I'm like, I don't know how they get their little gossip, and I don't know how they have all this time to do all these impromptu live streams and video after video. Sometimes they watch reality shows and they do a whole review of the shows. And I don't really, because I'm not in the States and I wasn't going to invest in some kind of cable package to keep watching TV, I just watch the YouTuber reviews, the ones who are, doing pop culture or talking about reality stars, and it's just highly entertaining, these people. They are super entertaining. But I just marvel sometimes at what they're doing, Here we're in the tarot community. We have our little small niche group, and it's just interesting. It's just a whole nother world that I'm exploring. Not that I'm not going to ever be that type of YouTuber. Nothing wrong with it. My hat goes off to them. That's just not the lane that I'm going to be in, but I certainly will be a consumer of their content. So that's that about YouTube for out in the rest of the world. But one tarot tuber that I was just super happy to see a video from was Sanskrit Blue. And she did a death year video. And I just completely related to everything she was saying and talking about. And it was just so reassuring to hear her thoughts, her feelings on what was going on in 2020 for her and how it turned into a death year. But it was similar to my series, our series are similar, not hers is similar to mine or mine to her, you know what I mean? So it was just the timing of it when she had hers come out and mine, it was just so beautiful because I felt very raw and vulnerable to putting that content out. These were my journal entries, And I keep journals, and I always have ever since I was a little girl. I have them even from back when I was a child. And I talk to it like a friend sometimes. So I thought that when I was creating that Death Year journal, that it was just going to be about decks. I had no idea I was going to touch upon different little things that were affecting me. And so I felt very vulnerable and raw. And I just was reassured and just like so mesmerized by what her experience was. And I was grateful that she shared it. And I'm just grateful. So that I definitely watched, and I encourage you all to watch it as well. It's a great video. And she's a great person. I just adore her so much. So anyways, now moving on to my random goodies, and it's right actually behind me. So I'm gonna have to kind of move out of the way and show you. My random goodie for March was my little bookcase here. Okay, you can see it here. So I kind of moved my other random goodie from last month, which is my screen, my tarot screen, shifted it back, and the bookcase. Now, here's the thing. I got the bookcase back in February. I purchased it in late December, or not purchased it, but there's a lady here in the community who organizes an IKEA pickup, and there's 2 IKEAs in the DR, one in the capital, which is Santo Domingo, which is like 2.5 hours away, and the other is in Santiago. So she arranges to get like all of us to pull in for and pay for the transportation costs, and they just get the order. So I was like, I need a bookcase to house my decks that have come. It's like super important to me. And got this. My husband took like 3 weeks to put it together, which kind of annoyed me. That wasn't a favorite thing of mine in March. And yeah, so finally he puts it together. And there it is. It has my sprays in there, my little essential oils. Let me see. I would try to zoom in, but I don't want to mess up the camera or nothing. I have this. Let me see, you can open it up. And so I have a couple of little statues, my Hoodoo Tarot, my Karma cards. Love that. One of these days, I need to do a video just on Karma cards and how wonderful they are. And candles, and then the rest are my decks, and they're like 2 like rows of decks, okay, and some at the bottom, you can't see it, but there's some on top of the deck. So when I move into my more permanent spot, my permanent spot, not my more permanent, it'll be my permanent spot, I will make arrangements to have more closed shelves, because the humidity is a factor. And so I put like these little humidifiers in there, and that way I try to keep them all good, take them out, look at them, use them. Hence why, like me having a large collection, I don't know if that's going to work out so well, because I don't want to manage all of them. But I don't want to leave, there's still quite a few decks in the States. I don't really want to leave them there. So I have this year you guys will get to see me wrangle with all of that. But I like the decks to have room to breathe. So we'll be moving in probably a couple of months at the earliest, I'm thinking. A couple of months. And I'm going to make arrangements to figure out my shelving situation so that way I can get that all ready. So I just instantly move in. They have breathing room, etc. That's like really important to me. That the decks have some breathing room in the shelves, that they be closed. I like a closed shelf or a closed bookcase, if at all possible. I'm not going to go into all why. It's not a big deal. It's the same reasons that many people have a closed case. And also it just helps me to better control the humidity factor of having my little dehumidifiers. I keep saying humidifiers. We don't see in Sacramento in the wintertime, I needed a, humidifier. keep the air moist because it's so dry in the winter time there. But here I need a dehumidifier, so yeah, y'all bear with me. Okay, so that's my random goodie that I'm super loving and just so happy with. Like, yay, it makes me so happy that my decks have a home now. You guys, that's another favorite thing was my decks got here March 24th after I shipped them December 31st from the States. Long story. You guys will hear more about it later in a series I'm doing, but it came and I just was like so relieved, and it looks like the decks are intact and I'm just super uber grateful. So that was definitely a highlight in March for me related to decks. Let us talk about books. So let me go to Kindle. One book that I did read, and it was an easy read, I was grateful for that. It is the book, and I'm looking at my notes here, Rootwork, Using the Folk Magic of Black America for Love, Money, and Success by Tayannah McQuillar. And let me see if it'll show me the cover. Can it show me the cover? I want to show me the cover. Oh, cover? It's not the cover. Oh, well. Well, anyways, Rootwork. And so I'll have the name of the book in the description box. But she is the creator of the Hoodoo Tarot. And one of the folks in my Facebook group, at Abundant Life Tarot group, had mentioned this book, and I said, oh, that's right, I did want to read it. So I got it on Kindle, read it. It was an easy read. And I love Tayannah's style with her writing. Her writing is just very like conversational, you know, it makes for an easy read and an enjoyable read. And it was more, to me, more like reference material that people can consult should they choose to. So I read it and I liked it. And there's many things, I think I did highlight it. I wonder, now is probably not the time to go into an in-depth review. It was just one of the books that I read, and I think it will help me to really enjoy my Hoodoo Tarot even more. So if you're in my Facebook group, you'll hear more about the Hoodoo Tarot, and that's just a little tidbit of information. You all know what I'm talking about, so I'll leave it at that. But even her dedication was, it says, this book is dedicated to all the root doctors and spiritualists in the South who kept the traditions of Africa alive against all odds. Thank you. So I highlighted that. And there were many highlights that I made in the book. You could even go to Amazon and look at the table of contents and even read a sample, should you so be inclined. And maybe at some point I may just do a breakdown of the book, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll go there at a later time. All right, so let's talk about my crystal of the month. This is my crystal, my Elestial Alligator Quartz. Here it is. This did not travel with me on the plane because I only brought like really small stones that I needed, or at least I felt like I needed, that I really wanted for my client readings. And they needed to be small enough to be like when they're weighed to go on the plane and the luggage or what have you, wasn't going to be super heavy. So anything that I really loved as far as crystals, I had to pack them and send them and have them come in shipments. So this one came in my March 24th box. I love this stone so much, and I keep showing it off. I actually had just recently talked to someone via email about this stone, and I wanted to share with you some things that I shared, just what I shared. Just looking at my notes here. And so Alligator Elestial Quartz is formed from smoky or clear quartz and is powerful in mass cleaning or cleansing, healing, and reawakening for the individual and the collective. It is a stone that I use when I'm meditating. It is the stone that I use to help me aid in really strengthening my intuitive abilities. Quite a few of my larger stones like this, it's more about me just wanting to tap more into my intuitive abilities, my empathic abilities. So, and also protective stones. So that's usually now what I find myself gravitating towards with regards to my crystal healing stones per se. And I was so happy this one came. One of the things about this stone that's similar to the Lemurian quartz, which, where are you? Oh, there you are. I know you're here. I can feel your energy. My Lemurian is, I was told that these stones only come to you usually most times by way of someone else who is, because energy is channeled through people, right? So it's someone else that says, okay, I'm gifting this to you, or you should buy this. This is something you need, or you see it on the ground. It comes just at the right moment. This is one of those stones. And I was at a gym fair and I was purchasing other stones. At the time I was selling crystals in my Etsy shop, and also during as a vendor at fairs and little festivals and stuff like that. So I was getting crystals for that, and my favorite gym fair vendor who I usually buy crystals from was like, he was like, I really feel like you need this. This is your time or what have you to receive this. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is gorgeous. And I saw how big it was. I was like, oh, I don't know. I'm, just here to, buy products or just get some inventory. And he was like, no, this is for you. And so I was like, okay, I receive it. And then, wow, the stone, as soon as it came, it was just like, oh my God, you're back. You're here. You're supposed to be with me. And yeah, so it's a special, special stone to me. It's sat on my table since it's been back, and it's just like bosom buddies, and I'm never going to be separated from it again. I'll sacrifice some smaller stones for just one next time I'm traveling. So there's that. Now we are moving on to the decks. So the decks. Well, obviously I was just in deck heaven. So I won't go too far into the decks because I've either done unboxings for these decks or you're going to hear about them in a series that I'm doing. So March was very, very happy for me in terms of decks. Now, the first one I want to talk about is the Lantern Oracle. I don't have the boxes right now, and I do have the book, but the book is tucked away in a box, so I'm not going to get it right at this moment. But this deck, you guys, I got it last year, I want to say October, I can't remember. And I only got to use it a few times, just a handful of times. But I really liked it. It wasn't a huge fanfare about this deck when it first dropped, which I thought was interesting because it's a gorgeous deck. It's a Blue Angel deck. It's got matte finish. And whoa, the readings, phenomenal. But I was like, I only can ship decks, or I can only take decks, not ship. I could only take decks that were my working decks. This wasn't a working deck yet, so I had to make the sacrifice to send it. It came. I was going through a really difficult time in my transition to here, like last week, where it was just like, like sometimes I'm just like, maybe I'm not cut out to live abroad. I don't know. And the reading that came out from these cards, I was like, all right, I'm good. I'm straight. And I just love this deck so much. It's just such a gem, and you know, definitely check it out. This is one I can definitely stand behind in terms of maybe you should check it out. Okay, the next oracle I want to talk about, it was also in the box. It's the Sacred Destiny Oracle. And here are the backs. It's a Hay House deck. Okay, it's also matte. It's got borders, but I don't really care so much about that. It has trust. I won't go too in depth. I've done an unboxing. They have been in my past favorites videos and monthly review videos. So if you want to check it out, you could just type Sacred Destiny in the little search in my YouTube channel, and you will see where I've tagged them and where you can watch those videos if you're interested in this deck. I love Denise Linn. She's an incredible writer and highly intuitive, and the readings that come from this is also amazing. I use this deck for readings for myself, for client readings, but usually like it's one-offs for client readings, which is why it didn't make the cut to get on the suitcase, but the guidebook did. So there's that. So it came, and we like old friends. We've been working together again. Now, last but not least, let's talk about the tarot. Now, you guys have seen me gushing about this deck. I've talked about it probably in the last month in review. I did an unboxing of it. I've done a video on whether or not I should get it. And I'm just thrilled with this deck. I love it. I've used it for a few client readings, but mostly readings for myself. I just like to grab this one right now. That's just where we're at. Here is Perspective, which is the Hanged Man traditionally. Here's Queen of Discs. I just really am drawn to it. I don't know why. I really like it, and I'm grateful it's in my collection. Here's the backs. It's a US Games deck. It was independently produced. I don't have the indie copy, but this one works just fine. I love US Games decks. So here's the Magician. I like the colors, I like the size, I like the shuffleability of it. I even like that some of them are a little bit pippish, but we've got still some illustrations going on. It's got it, you know, for those of you who need it, little keywords. So this is Five of Wands, competition. So, and here's Queen of Wands, vibrancy. So I don't know. This is a cool little deck. The guidebook is sweet. Here's the guidebook. And I had to share with you that I'm still very much feeling this deck, and I'm glad that I added it to my collection. It is one of the, there's one other one that I'll probably be talking about in next month's review. I just haven't published the unboxing of it yet, so I like to publish that first and then talk about it in my monthly review. But I only have had a couple of decks shipped here so far, and I kind of want to keep that way. I think when I go to the States for a visit is when I will, you know, buy some decks and bring them back with me is probably what I'll do. My mom's she's used to me having shipments go to her house. I just was having shipments going everywhere. I didn't get as bad as having them go to my office, but there were times I did, so yeah. Herbcrafter's Tarot, it finally made it, and I'm super excited. This deck I also used as soon as it came here, and I was like, I didn't know if I was going to get along with it, because we were just studying about this one. Here's the back. So we were just studying it in our tarot study group. And the thing about this deck is that I was like, oh, I can't use it because I don't know the herbs or blah, blah, blah. But no, I did a reading for myself around the same subject matter that I did it with the Lantern Oracle. And it was just 2 cards. And it was like, oh no, this is how your day is going to go tomorrow. It's going to work out quite well. And I was like, no way, that today was just awful. And no, it's not going to work out. And then it totally was everything that those 2 cards said. And I was like, oh, I am comfortable with working with this deck now. And I can't wait to resume and finish the tarot study group for the Herbcrafters Tarot. So now that I have this deck back, we can get back to business. So stay tuned for more content surrounding that. All right, guys, that's it. That's my month in review for March. I want to thank you all so much for joining me. You know, it's always fun to do these videos because it's like a catch up for me. You guys can see what I've been up to. I have a couple of things I need to show you in here. Otherwise, I probably would have tried to do the month in review in another location, but I don't know, we'll see. All right, guys. Well, thank you all so much. Please don't forget to share the video. Don't forget to comment below. Let me know what your favorite things were in the month of March, or if you know anything about what I talked about today, or if you can relate. I'd love to hear from you. All right. See you all later. Please take good care of yourselves. Bye.